Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you're watching from. Hope you're having a great day. You're feeling safe and doing well. I am Omar Stennett. This is I Am Sure Sports. And I'm sure today that my thoughts on the Reggae Boys versus Mexico encounter in the Azteca will give us a perspective of hope. Firstly, let me begin and say in life, every challenge and every difficulty presents us with certain options. And sometimes we feel like if we don't win, the only option is that we lose. And that's probably what life has taught us. But what about this perspective? Sometimes we win and sometimes we learn. And what may be a defeat in a thing is a learning experience. And we'll take from that the lessons to make progress as we go forward. So for me personally, this game last night against Mexico, where the result was 2-1 in favor of Mexico, we have lessons to learn from it. But I have to stop and say this. Leading up to this game, I heard many persons talking about how we will be severely spanked, beaten, destroyed, 4, 5, 6, all of those things. I went in with cautious optimism. My heart said we could get a draw, but my head said, based on the fact that we're going in the Azteca, never had a lot of preparation time, a B squad for the most part, if we're being honest, that we'll lose, but we didn't want to be embarrassed. So I would have been satisfied with a 2-1 defeat because I believe even if we lost all of our whole away games, if we win the 7 games we have at home, it gives us a chance to at least finish fourth. Though I think we're going to get some points on the road. Key for me is that the 7 games at home, we win them all. And then we go from there. All right. Now, I chose not to do a video right after the game because the emotions are high and you begin to say things and make comments. And then when you look back, you realize that you ought to be slow to speak. So I listened a whole lot because we have 2 years now, and we need to listen more than we speak. We have one mouth, 2 ears. It means that you need to listen 2 times the amount of time that you speak. So I chose to listen and read and look at stuff. Now, I want to also commend Coach Whitmore because many doubt that he has any tactical awareness, but he showed up until the 89th minute that with an underprepared team, with what some people deem to be second class players, who some of us thought should not have even started, he was able to stay in the game up until the 89th minute. He made some substitution, and we don't know the reasoning behind it. This is Azteca, and some of these players, they weren't running and empty. Their bodies were emptied like like minutes before, and they had given their all. We had to make changes. The goal that we conceded late in the game, really, none of the persons who came on the field were the cause of the goal. It was just a slight deflection that kind of caught Lowe, who had an excellent game, along with Mariappa, um, off guard, and you kind of see that he stretched for the ball. The forward came across from the right side in front of Alva, who was extremely tired, and took a very good shot that Andre Blake got a hand to. Wasn't strong enough, ended up nestled into the top left hand corner. Mexico won the game. All right. All of us can look back and say, well, he could have done that differently. And that's true. Many things could have been done. None of us know that if Shamar stayed on the field, or if Corey stayed on the field, or if Grant stayed on the field, if we would have not conceded. It is all speculation. Let's tell you what the facts are. This coach took a group of players who we thought weren't our best players. He took them not having much preparation time. Romario Williams, who has not played for the national team in 2 years. Anthony Grant playing for the first time. Javane Brown having his first call up. He used a Fisher who came on who had a poor, he had a very, very poor uh, Gold Cup. He took them, he played. Shamar Nicholson, Bowser, who many of us wanted to discard because of his performance at the Gold Cup, scored a brilliant goal, very well taken. And so this coach took these players there and kept them in the game. And maybe if the underfoot conditions were better, that goal would not have been scored. So I want to encourage the players because they have a next tough encounter, I believe, in Costa Rica because this is the core of players that will be going to Costa Rica. I want to encourage Coach Whitmore. There, all of us can look back and say, what could we have done better? So for you, for the team, and for Whitmore, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. Look at the lessons. Be encouraged. When we went to the World Cup in 1998, we did lose the first game. And look how everything panned out and turned out. This is not over. There's 13 games remaining. People are calling for the coach to be fired, for him to lose his job after one game. Let's think. Now that the emotions are probably tempered, what sense would it make to change your coach when you have a game on Sunday and a game on Wednesday? Have you stopped to say, well done, players? I listened to people at halftime who said Shamar should have come off the field. Those people celebrated when he scored the goal. In other words, we must be balanced in our thoughts. And people must take responsibility for the errors. Looking back, all of us can say, if this were done, that would not have happened. You don't know. You don't know. Facts don't change. This coach kept us in a 90-minute game. 89th minute, we were in the game. Simple error. You could blame the whole team. So where maybe if our captain, one of the top 20 goalkeepers in the world, Andre Blake, maybe if he had taken that spot kick and go long, the goal would not have scored, but he played it to low, played it to Alvas, it went up to Fisher, ball went out. That's how this whole thing, the ball never left our half. Maybe you could look back and say if that were done differently. Could say maybe if Grant stayed on the field, Grant playing had a wonderful game. Many people doubted him, didn't even want him in the team. Said that he was too old. He put in a good shift. Maybe if he was on the field, things would have been different. But we don't know. He could have been out there and we concede, and he made an error. And then we same one would have said, regardless of what he did earlier, he should not be there. I hear people say that Taxi didn't play well. I think Taxi probably had one ball that came across, he didn't head it out, and the guy got a header. Great save by Blake. Blake made a mistake, and he caught back the ball for one attempt. I think on the first goal, low header from out of the box didn't go too far. And so Alvas, he never bombed down the right side as he always does. What am I saying? I'm saying to you that in football, people make mistakes. This is not the end of the campaign. This is the beginning. This is the beginning. This is not our strongest team. We were not playing at home. Every team who played at home dropped points with the exception of Mexico. Why don't we look at that? El Salvador dropped points to America. Canada, all the games draw. Canada drew with Honduras, and Panama and Costa Rica drew. I don't think at our best any of those teams can beat us at home. And if we win all our home games, we're at 21 points. And I believe we're going to pick up points on the road. So Jamaica, have hope. And if Tapa makes errors and he's getting it wrong going ahead, then we can have a conversation. But there's no merit for these calls for him to be fired based on this game. We have no merit to criticize Kemar Lawrence for this game. Come on, let's be real. This is football. These guys went out there and put their all in that game. In the Azteca, in high altitude, rainy conditions. 90 minutes of football. You are not there. We see it on TV. You don't know what the discussions were. You don't know what player said. Coach, listen, put on someone to hold the line. I can't carry on anymore. I'm done. You see, when you watch it on TV, you don't see that in defense, when the ball were being kicked long later in the game, Boza wasn't able to run and collect them or hold it up as in the first half because he was tired. Changes needed to have been made. You can say, well, maybe this person or that person should have come on, but that is no guarantee that Mexico would not have scored. Listen, those are my thoughts, and I am disappointed because I believe at 89 minutes, I was celebrating that we went to Mexico and we got a point. I'm disappointed, but being disappointed don't make it a failure. The one thing I will say is that in the selection of the squad, because we left Jamaica going there for a draw, we should have had a defensive midfielder, knowing that Anthony Grant would not be able to play the full 90 given his age. And we never did that. We never did that. I think, like I said before, that Andrew Vanzi would have been a better option than Ricardo Morris. Not that Ricardo Morris is not good, but Andrew Vanzi plays CDM and he also plays centre back. He could have gone in with his height and all of that for the 3 minutes that were remaining. Coach Whitmore, Reggae Boyz, every single one of you, keep the courage, keep the faith. Sometimes people are going to criticize, rightly or wrongly so. But if you don't want to be criticized, do nothing, be nothing, and say nothing. John Maxwell says this: sometimes we win, and sometimes we learn. Other people say sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. We take defeat as an opportunity to learn. Thank you so much. That's my post-match analysis after taking time to look at everything. And Saturday, I will speak to you again about Sunday's game. Hopefully, one of my birds will give me some information that I can share with you. Commendation also to the administrators at the JFF to be able, I think the first time in our history, to have a team in Mexico and 8 players in Jamaica for our next game. Unprecedented time calls for dynamic changes in leadership. And they have done this. We hope it works and we pray for the best. And we look forward to a good win against Panama on Sunday. I am sure that we have 35 players and a coach in Tapa Whitmore with his coaching staff that have enough quality that if we get behind them, we can qualify for Qatar 2020. I take off my glasses so you can see the redness in my eyes because I cried when that goal went in. Be safe. Enjoy the rest of your day. And again, big up all the nurses, doctors, porters, warders, all across Jamaica, working diligently and tirelessly to preserve life and keep us healthy. Be safe, people.